My name is Justin Lurkey, and I run Bin Pro. Um, we are a dumpster rental business providing dumpsters in southern Minnesota. Our website, it can be found at www.mybinpro.com. Basically, we provide four different size container rentals, whether that's for your construction needs or a home renovation project, or you just need to get rid of a bunch of clutter that's taking up your house. We provide 10, 15, 20, and 30-yard containers. And yeah, we focus on dropping them when you need them and removing them when you don't. Whether it's late at night or whether it's waking up super early to make sure that the dumpster shows up. I mean, if we don't have anybody to do it, I'm the guy who's got to be in the truck. And for a long time, it was only me just making sure I did that. And so you really have to have a mindset of, I got to know my numbers, I got to know what I'm doing, and make sure that, we're turning as many dumpsters as we can so that we can have that money rolling in. And also, to that, if we're not collecting on that money, that was a huge problem for us, is that we weren't we were doing the work, but yet we weren't getting paid for doing the work. And so focusing on um, commandment number one, as you gave it to us, the 10 commandments of Inpro, thou shall not invoice. Uh, we only send receipts. We don't send invoices anymore. And getting that mindset of we got to be paid before we're actually doing the work. Um, that way we have that money, that cash flow coming in. But as of the last time we spoke, I mean, we're up like 130 some rentals on the year. Um, and so each year we continue to need to add more equipment, add more employees, add more containers. Um, Most businesses don't have that luxury of being able to do that, and we're in a position where we can. Um, we're coming from a strong point where we actually have the data now, so we're not just responding on, I think I emotionally need more 30-yard dumpsters. No, actually, if we're looking at our numbers here, we can actually say, well, we are operating at about 98% out of our whole fleet. Container rentals, we're operating out of 110 containers, we operate in that 90% range consistently. So we need to add more. Um, we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't know the numbers. I think last year we had a 28% growth on the year.
What's that like? Just knowing that the marketing plan is simple. I can articulate it to a third grader. What's it like from a mind freedom perspective, knowing that this is a plan that works?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge weight off my shoulders. Like, I don't have to really think about that. It's just being about being able to be found when a customer searches dumpster near me and being the first, the top of the list. And so having you guys, you know, keep driving that in, like, we need to get these review guys. We need to be constantly adding those each week and adding new images and videos. Just having that and only focusing on that, because there's so many different things that pull me off track each and every day. If I just keep to the basics, like you're saying, we're going to keep moving forward. In the beginning, it was a little overwhelming. Like, you wanted me to track all this information, and I was like, am I even going to find time during the week? And sometimes it is kind of a struggle because chaos always happens, regardless if I have a coach or don't. Um, so from that perspective, having somebody that I know that I have to meet with every single week and at least have our numbers gone through. And if I don't, then you're going to call me on it. I mean, having that accountability there has been a huge weight off my shoulders, because it's not just me fumbling my way through this. And if I have some off the wall harebrained idea, you can, like, politely, like you always do on Saturday mornings, you're like, well, let's not focus on that right now. We'll come back to that. But we need to focus on what's right here. Did you get any images? Did you get any reviews this week? Right? Are we doing the things so that we can one day focus on that? Um, Otherwise, I'd just be off swirling off like I tend to do on these all harebrained ideas that have real no impact on the business today.
What has that meant to your business being able to now manage via numbers?
Yeah, being able to see it, we're not having that emotional impulse buying or, like I need this. Well, actually, I don't really need that. I need, I'm buying containers, I'm buying trucks that actually have the numbers to back it up. I'm not just buying it because I feel like we need to add that to our fleet. I'm doing it from a strategic standpoint. I'm not reacting out of my emotions anymore. Yes, my emotions are still present. I still want stuff, but I can keep myself in check. And then obviously with yours and Carter's help, I'm staying focused. Having you guys encourage me, even though there's plenty of times where I've talked to you. We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't like, does this make sense anymore? And you're like, well, let's focus on did we get review? Did we get reviews? Did we get? And it pulled me out of that. It pulled me out of my funk, and I was able to, yeah, become rejuvenated and have that energy to keep pushing on.
All right, folks, on today's show, we're interviewing an entrepreneur and a client that, frankly, can grow a much better beard than I can. So I'm impressed by the beard. He also has a dumpster rental company. He has a dumpster rental company that is it's growing. He's up in the great state of Minnesota, where I'm from. And with that being said, Justin, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Clay. Thank you for having me on.
Now, for anybody who wants to look you up to verify you're not a hologram, can you share with us your first and last name and the name of your business?
Yeah, my name is Justin Lurkey, and I run Bin Pro. Um, we are a dumpster rental business providing dumpsters in southern Minnesota. Our website, it can be found at www.mybinpro.com.
And for somebody out there that says, what are all the services that you provide? Can you share with us the kinds of services that someone could get if they visit your website, mybinpro.com?
Yeah, basically we provide four different size container rentals, whether that's for your construction needs or a home renovation project, or you just need to get rid of a bunch of clutter that's taking up your house. We provide 10, 15, 20, and 30-yard containers. And yeah, we focus on dropping them when you need them and removing them when you don't.
Now, what I wanted to do on today's show is to encourage somebody out that has a business that maybe is stuck. And growing a business is very different than having a 9 to 5 job. It's two different worlds, and I want to just show some examples real quick here. If you go to usdebtclock.org, which is a great website to go to if you want to get nauseated, there's only 8.9 million self-employed people in America. So first off, there's 343 million people in America, and there's only 8.9 self-employed people. So you have less than 3% of the population that's self-employed to begin with. And according to Inc. magazine, 96% of businesses fail. So it's statistically very, very improbable that somebody would be self-employed and would be succeeding. And if you don't like that stat, Forbes has a more of a fun stat here. Forbes reports that 25% of businesses, roughly 20 to 25% of businesses, fail in their first year. So it's very rare that a business is going to make it. Again, Forbes reports, and this is Forbes. This is not me. 20% of businesses fail in their first year. Inc. magazine reports 96% of businesses overall fail. The U.S. debt clock shows that only 3% of the American population is self-employed to begin with. So I just want to get your thoughts on this. What's your thoughts on self-employment versus 9 to 5 job?
Well, it's been a whirlwind. I mean, lots of things that when you work for someone else, you don't think about, like yeah, like writing an employee handbook, for example, is super like nobody thinks about all the words that are in there. And you kind of just got to fumble your way through it. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I got to go back and revisit that and tweak it. Um, and then there's nobody else that I get to call. Yeah, I can call our employees and have them come back in, but like the buck stops with me. So I have to account and be accountable for everything that our employees do, and whether it's good or it's bad. So it's definitely challenging and stressful.
The other thing about owning a business that's both great and terrible is you get paid based upon the sales that you generate. You don't get paid based on the sales that you want to generate. You don't get paid based upon how great your idea is. You don't get paid based upon how good your logo is. You don't get paid based upon how good your website looks. You get paid based on actual sales. Could you talk about that? Because there's somebody out there watching this right now that is self-employed and they're feeling this as well, or maybe they want to be self-employed. Can you talk about just the profundity of knowing that you as an entrepreneur or your company, you get paid based on the actual sales you do, not based on your brand, your logo, your website, or your big idea?
Yeah, I think at the beginning I was worried about making sure that our logo looked good and that our website, was aesthetically pleasing more so than functional. Um, but at the end of the day, like you're talking about, if we don't move, if we're not moving dumpsters, we're not generating any revenue through the front door. And whether it's late at night or whether it's waking up super early to make sure that the dumpster shows up, I mean, if we don't have anybody do it, I'm the guy who's got to be in the truck. And for a long time, it was only me just making sure I did that. And so you really have to have a mindset of, I got to know my numbers, I got to know what I'm doing, and make sure that, we're turning as many dumpsters as we can so that we can have that money rolling in. And also, to that, if we're not collecting on that money, that was a huge problem for us, is that we weren't we were doing the work, but yet we weren't getting paid for doing the work. And so focusing on um, commandment number one, as you gave it to us, the 10 commandments of Inpro, thou shall not invoice. Uh, we only send receipts. We don't send invoices anymore. And getting that mindset of we got to be paid before we're actually doing the work. Um, that way we have that money, that cash flow coming in.
Now, again, folks, we're going to get in now to the specific stuff, the stuff behind the stuff. A lot of times people think about growing a company, they think about marketing. Yes. Some people think about growing a business, they think just about accounting. Some people think, no, it's about being the team, building the team. It's all of it. It's offense, defense, and special teams. And so I want to go through all three phases that we've gone through together with our coaching relationship. So the first area is growth. That's kind of the fun part. Marketing, branding, logos, websites, that kind of thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you're up 30% year over year. That could be wrong. Could you tell us about the growth, top line growth, what percentage growth that you've seen approximately?
Yeah, it's about that. I think right now, I don't have that sheet up in front of me, but as of the last time we spoke, I mean, we're up like 130 something rentals on the year. Um, and so each year we continue to need to add more equipment, add more employees, add more containers. Um, Most businesses don't have that luxury of being able to do that, and we're in a position where we can. Um, we're coming from a strong point where we actually have the data now, so we're not just responding on, I think I emotionally need more 30-yard dumpsters. No, actually, if we're looking at our numbers here, we can actually say, well, we are operating at about 98% out of our whole fleet. Container rentals, we're operating out of 110 containers, we operate in that 90% range consistently. So we need to add more. Um, we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't know the numbers. I think last year we had a 28% growth on the year.
There it is. So now, again, marketing, branding, we can get into the details of how we do that. I want to get into the details of that. Then we'll get into managing for a minute here. Um, Growing a company involves a simple plan. Steve Jobs, who couldn't be here on today's show because he's dead, but the co-founder of Apple, he once said that simplicity scales and complexity fails. Simplicity scales, complexity fails. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs that have a very complex business plan and they think it's going to be awesome. But the moment that that plan comes in contact with real employees who really have to execute the plan, that plan quickly falls apart. And one thing I try to do with every client is to make sure we have a very simple plan and a plan that will for sure work if we do it. Kind of like David versus Goliath, a simple plan, simple stone slays the Goliath, slays the giant. We have a simple plan. What's it like for you knowing that, hey, man, if I get video reviews, if I get images, if I get search engine content, I get more Google reviews, and we update our website every month, we're going to grow. What's that like just knowing that, okay, the marketing plan is simple. I can articulate it to a third grader. What's it like from a mind freedom perspective knowing that, okay, this is a plan that works?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge weight off my shoulders. Like, I don't have to really think about that. It's just being about being able to be found when a customer searches dumpster near me and being the first, the top of the list. And so having you guys, you know, keep driving that in, like, we need to get these review guys. We need to be constantly adding those each week and adding new images and videos. Just having that and only focusing on that because there's so many different things that pull me off track each and every day. If I just keep to the basics, like you're saying, we're going to keep moving forward.
Second part is now once you have sales, once you have marketing, once you got that marketing coming in, now you got to fulfill. So step one, folks, if you're taking notes, there's three phases. There's offense, there's defense, there's special teams. Once you have the offense going, I mean, once you have leads coming in, now you got to manage a team. I want to talk about that for a second. Managing a team, you had to manage a price increase. You're not wanting to raise prices, but this just in: the cost of gas, the cost of fuel, the cost of eggs, the cost of everything has gone up. That's called inflation. It's when the government prints more money than they what? It's when the government prints more money to cover to pay for expenses that they cannot afford. So when a government prints more money to pay for the bills that they can't afford to pay for, that causes the delusion of it causes your value, your money to lose value. So government says, wow, we don't have enough money to pay our bills. So we're going to print more money. Wouldn't that be nice if we could all do that? So we're going to print more money. And then that decreases the value of the dollars. Therefore, eventually you have to raise prices. Let's talk about that together. We've worked together on that raising the prices. What was that like knowing that, hey, we're going to have to raise our prices? And again, you're not trying to gouge people, and you're not gouging people. But what's that like when you know, okay, I got to raise prices?
Well, it's difficult. I mean, you are going to lose. You're going to have those phone calls where people are like, you're just way out of line. And again, I can't speak for our competitors, but I can just say, hey, fuel. I mean, diesel prices directly affect what we do. We run big trucks and they consume a lot of fuel. So when fuel, is at, I think today we paid 3.89 a gallon, right? Well, 3 weeks ago we were paying close to $5 a gallon, if not over $5 a gallon, and we can't absorb that. We're not the bank of Binpro doesn't exist where like you're talking about we can't just print our own money, um, and so getting our customers to understand we're still trying to provide a value service and focusing more on our service. Cost, yes, has gone up, but you're still getting that same value in your container rental, and being able to verbalize that in such a way that you don't offend them has been tricky, but we're getting better at it.
One thing that I've noticed because I've interviewed, billionaires on our show and millionaires and, the founder of Netflix and I've interviewed Wolfgang Puck and John Maxwell and the founder of uh, Twitter, the founder of Square. I mean, I've just interviewed these people on our show. And as I interview these people, the founder of Adobe products, as I interview these people, I find that they almost all have coaches. It's pretty wild. If you look at pro athletes, it's pretty obvious they all have a coach because you can see the coach on the sidelines during the game. But the top professionals, the top entrepreneurs, they all have a coach, and it really comes down to professionals have coaches and amateurs don't. Can you talk about what it's meant for you, knowing that you can reach out to Carter and myself as you're navigating these things? Because again, managing a team of people is so different when you're self-employed than it is having a job working 9 to 5. Could you talk about what it's meant to you having a coach or a team here in your corner that'll pick up the phone on a Saturday or talk to you on a Tuesday night or whenever you need some help?
In the beginning, it was a little overwhelming. Like you wanted me to track all this information, and I was like, am I even going to find time during the week? And sometimes it is kind of a struggle because chaos always happens, regardless if I have a coach or don't. Um, So from that perspective, having somebody that I know that I have to meet with every single week and at least have our numbers gone through. Um, and if I don't, then you're going to call me on it. I mean, having that accountability there has been a huge weight off my shoulders because it's not just me fumbling my way through this. And if I have some off the wall harebrained idea, you can like politely, like you always do on Saturday mornings, you're like, well, let's not focus on that right now. We'll come back to that. But we need to focus on what's right here. Did you get any images? Did you get any reviews this week? Right? Are we doing the things so that we can one day focus on that? Um, Otherwise, I'd just be off swirling off like I tend to do on these all harebrained ideas that have real no impact on the business today.
There's offense, there's defense, there's special teams. We talked about offense, we talked about special teams. I want to talk about defense. Managing based upon your numbers. Just knowing your numbers, so therefore you can make decisions based upon knowing those numbers. What has that meant to your business, being able to now manage via numbers?
Yeah, being able to see it, we're not having that emotional impulse buying or, like I need this. Well, actually, I don't really need that. I need, I'm buying containers, I'm buying trucks that actually have the numbers to back it up. I'm not just buying it because I feel like we need to add that to our fleet. I'm doing it from a strategic standpoint. I'm not reacting out of my emotions anymore. Yes, my emotions are still present. I still want stuff, but I can keep myself in check. And then obviously with yours and Carter's help, I'm staying focused.
So many entrepreneurs quit. And Winston Churchill, the famous prime minister who led Europe when they fought against Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime. This is Winston Churchill, the head of Great Britain, the prime minister, when they stood up to Hitler. He said the ability to go from setback to setback without losing enthusiasm is a powerful thing. And I'm going to pull up the actual quote because it's very important for everyone to see this. But Winston Churchill, again, Winston Churchill, this is the guy who stood up to Adolf Hitler. He said, "Success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm." That is a profound idea. What do you say to all the entrepreneurs out there that are feeling a little bit defeated and a little bit beat up today?
There isn't a day that goes by where something doesn't hit us, but we just have to keep going. Trump talked about this in his last speech. If we just keep going so many times, we're going to get over the finish line, and there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Um, whether a part's breaking down on a truck or we delivered the dumpster to the wrong house, we got to drive and it screws up the whole plan. We just got to pivot with it. We're going to roll. We're going to adapt. We're going to overcome, and we're going to get through it. And having that mindset and being able to just push forward, that's been a huge story to why we're here today. Um, why Ben Pro is here today, and having you guys encourage me, even though there's plenty of times where I've talked to you. We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't like, does this make sense anymore? And you're like, well, let's focus on did we get review? Did we get reviews? Did we get? And it pulled me out of that. It pulled me out of my funk, and I was able to, yeah, become rejuvenated and have that energy to keep pushing on.
Well, I'll tell you this, folks. I encourage everybody out there, if you learned anything from today's show, go to mybinpro.com. What you'll do is you'll go to mybinpro.com. You'll go there right now. And then once you do, you're just going to post that on your social media. So I'm going to pull up my social media right there, and I'm going to post it on my social media. So I'm going to right here, I'll put, we just had a great interview. Let's put great interview with our friends at My Bin Pro. And I'll put a link here to the actual website. And by doing that, it helps the website rank higher. So for anybody out there, if you learned anything today, definitely post on social media a link to mybinpro.com. It'll help Justin's website rank higher. Justin, I'll give you the final word. What do you say to an entrepreneur out there that's doing this thing alone and they've never had a coach in their corner?
keep pushing, and I would highly recommend get a coach. Call Clay; he'll help you out. So I
Justin, thank
appreciate
you so much.
everything he's done.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him.
Character.
Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
Oh, he is. He is.
He has just a wealth of knowledge. He's worked with so many different companies and different businesses. He could take a concept that he's used before in the past with somebody totally different industry and see how it would work perfectly for you in whatever niche market you're in or whatever type of service you're providing. And so his brain is just a wealth of knowledge, and just to have that type of perspective on, as a part of your team and your own company is huge, super valuable. So I would definitely encourage people to use him. But one thing is, you got to be coachable. You got to be wanting to get feedback. You got to be wanting to really grow your company. You got to want to put that extra 10 hours a week to working on your business and not just in your business. And so, yes, I would recommend it to anybody who's wanting to grow their company and provide great systems, checklists, workflows, great encouragement, and have accountability.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads, going from 10 a month to 180 a month. That would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships. But one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things, the processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodward Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people when they look at my business, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, things just happen for me. And, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, perseverance and, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute, because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach. You know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. My rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life, so he was my coach.
I always wish that I had this, and because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.